Hello and welcome back to Minstrels on the Block. Special guest Rick Edwards. So Rick, in the section 1 you mentioned writing poetry and putting music to that. So tell us about that.
Well, I don't really know how I got into writing poetry. I've always been a reader. I learned to read when I was very young. My aunt and my mother taught me how to read before I ever started at school. So I was already reading. So I developed an interest in the language and how to communicate through language. And I don't know exactly when or how or why I started writing poetry and putting it down on paper, but at some point in my life I did. And in about 1964, I guess, I heard an album. A friend of ours, his name's Danny Howard. He's from here in Phoenix City also. I went to school with him. His brother, Mike Howard, who was also from around here, of course, he had been gone to New York to study art.
Cool.
He's a pretty famous artist these days. And he sent Danny a Bob Dylan album. We had never heard of Dylan down here, you know. We were redneck Central High School kids. You know? So we got to listening to that album, and I thought to myself, you know, I could put my lyrics to some of this kind of music too. And that's really what prompted me. I said, if Bob Dylan can do it, I can do it. Of course, you know, he made a little more money than me. But that's really how it came about. I just kind of wanted to. And I'd heard of Woody Guthrie, I'd heard of Hank Williams, you know, listening to the radio and stuff. And so, you know, I was really interested in that. I just had never tried to do it, so I just decided to go ahead and try. And the way I learned how to play is actually putting 3 chords to the poetry that I was writing and trying and just working that into a song. You know, I didn't know the way to go about doing it. I just found a way and started doing it. Every time I wanted to learn a new chord, I just wrote a song and put that chord in there. You know, that's how I learned manners.
That's cool. I know what you mean, because when I first started playing a guitar, I had sheet music. I had a basic understanding, but when I first started writing songs, let me put it that way, I'm a big fan of Jon Stewart, not the TV show host, the singer-songwriter. I'll be playing his stuff, you know, and I was like, man, same with you, I could write my own stuff, and started writing songs. So the first one's kind of sucked, but
it's a learning process, and it still continues. No matter how long you live, it's always a learning process. That's one of the beauties of being involved in music, is you don't ever know it all.
Right.
Everybody uses the same notes. They're all the same. But it's the way you manipulate them, and the soul and the feeling and the energy that you put into your particular version of those notes.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, and that's the creative process. It's always going to be that way. And that's one of the reasons that you really get stuck in music, as far as and hooked on it. You're addicted to it.
Oh yeah.
You know, it's an affliction. Because you really can't make any money. You spend a lot of money doing it.
Yeah, that's true.
So, you know, it's just, that's one of the beauties of the music, is that it's always changing, it's always growing. And as a writer or a singer, a songwriter, as a musician, you should never get complacent. You know, you should just, it's always a learning process. Learn and grow and learn new things. And it's happening right now.
Yeah. There's always room for growth, room for improvement. At what point did you go from just putting an extra chord in there to make a song to actually gaining knowledge of, say, 1-4-5 and scales and things like that?
You know, I played by the seat of my britches for so long, I didn't really learn what music was all about and how it was structured technically. I went and applied for a scholarship at CVCC. This was probably around 1979.
Right.
I had just come back from Austin, Texas, and trying to be an outlaw, you know, Texas music star out there. Anyway, I came back and I applied for a scholarship. I went down there and I played this song on the mandolin. Barbara Freeman was the person that I was auditioning for. I played what I call Red Wing on the mandolin. It just so happens that she thought it was Schubert's The Farmer's Daughter, which it actually is. It's taken right directly from a portion of that.
Right.
And so they thought I was classically inclined because of that. I won a music scholarship.
That's awesome.
So I learned how to, read and write music and how the structure goes. And
yeah,
I still don't use it because I'm still that folk guy. And you don't want to get too technical in that area anyway. You lose some of the soul when you get too technical, but it's good for anyone, and I recommend this to anybody. Learn a little bit of music.
Yeah.
Just learn it. No matter how tough it is, just go out and learn all those intervals and the scales and how the notes and the music fits together. If you don't do anything but that, do that. And it just gives you a better knowledge of how to use your minors, when to use them, which one, the second minor or the sixth minor. You just get a better understanding of the music,
right?
Without getting too technical,
right? And as John Phillips, a previous guest on the show, said, and I saw it on a news article that students in school who learn music do better at everything. So tell me. You said you went to Texas and wanted to be an outlaw Texas musician. Tell me something about that.
I already was an outlaw musician. I just wasn't an outlaw Texas musician. I was an outlaw Alabama musician.
Right.
In those days, I was playing an awful lot with my partner, Henry Parker. I don't know if a lot of people will know Henry.
I know Henry.
He's been around forever. He's sort of a recluse now, but I still love him.
Yeah.
And we used to just play all the honky-tonks and bars around here. And there was really no downtown culture at that time.
Right.
There was nothing down there. It was run down. It was before they revitalized it. So we'd play an oyster bar here and a juke joint there, and that's just really wasn't much to do.
Yeah.
But that's we played out there in the world, basically, and they still had a few fairs and stuff like that we did, but we were kind of rednecks, and we drank a little.
Yeah.
We wanted to be country, and we wanted to be Hank Williams and stuff like that. It was living the dream, living the life. That, and I still do. I still live that life, not as excessively, but I still have that opinion of myself, and
right.
That's what I am. That's me. I'm the old folk hero.
Yeah.
It's going to be like that if I can help it.
Yeah.
So all that sort of led up to I was playing with we were called the original 3-man band because Henry and I had added Ron Hildreth. He was a guy from Florida that came up as singer-songwriter, and he started playing with us. Actually, we played out at Buddy Nelm's first bar that he had behind the Colony Inn. It was called Backstage.
Nice.
Before a lot of people realized Buddy had a music bar. And we played out there at that place for a number of times before Buddy ever opened the Loft downtown.
Wow. Yeah. Predates the Loft.
So we go way back. But anyway, at some point I decided I wanted to go out to Texas and see if we could get in on the Willie Whalen and all those guys. So we went out to Austin, Texas. I had some friends out there also. Stayed with them. And I actually got to meet Willie a couple of times. He had a couple of bars there. And we played in his bars.
That's cool.
And played up on the Colorado River that runs through the high country down into Austin. We played around up in there. That was probably around 1978, 79, right before I came back and went to CVCC.
Right.
Take music. So that was a learning experience. Really enjoyed that a lot. But I always come back one more time than I've left. So I've traveled quite a bit, Brian. But I always come home. This is home to me, and I love it here. I've got a home out in Phoenix City, and it's just great. I love to travel, and I love to go, and I love to go to the festivals and be involved with the music. But I always like to come home too.
All roads lead back home.
Back to Phoenix City.
We'll be right back to get some more from Rick Edwards right after this song from Rick Edwards.
Hello, my name is Rick Edwards. Glad to be here on Minstrels on the Block with Brian Mallard. Going to do another one of my songs. Wrote this one probably 1994, 95. It's called The Big Picture Show. I've stood in your place and I've walked in your shoes. I put in my time and I paid my dues. I've crawled and I've walked, now I'm ready to run and do all the things I never have done. Somebody once told me to give it all up. Throw down that old guitar and don't pick it back up. Quit thinking those thoughts and writing them down. Stop playing for pennies and playing the clown. Well, I tried and I tried, but I never went back. Somehow I just couldn't let it go slack. Tighter and tighter it wound in my mind. I hold on to my dreams and won't let them unwind. Well, there's people for this and people for that. There's someone to wear each and every hat. Look up to a man for what he believes. Never mind what he takes, let's see what he leaves. Well, there's war and there's death, there's a plague on the earth. If that could all end, what would it be worth? Should we acquiesce and just go with the flow? If we never question, we never will know. Well, I know all the questions and the answers to some. Yet even with that, I sure do feel dumb. Helplessly hoping we'll all come to know we all are the stars in this big picture show. Yes, we all are the stars in this big picture show.